Hi all, myself Anjita Aravind. Today we are discussing different kind of kidney function test which is used to diagnose or determine the disease or disorders of the kidney or the urinary tract. Shall we start the section? So shall we start the section with recollecting the data? For that, here I added an introduction question. We all know that we have a pair of kidney and the main functional unit of kidney is nephrons, and each kidney consists of millions of nephrons. And the nephrons functioning as the main function of the nephron is the urine formation, and the urine formation has mainly three mechanisms, that is glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption and tubular secretion. And the picture we can see that the diagram of a nephron, and it shows that the afferent and efferent arterioles which is capsuled in a Bowman's capsule, and the Bowman's capsules continue to the proximal convoluted tubule, and the proximal convoluted tubule joined with the loop of Henle, and the loop of Henle is divided into two, that is descending limb of loop of Henle and ascending limb of loop of Henle, and the loop of Henle continues with the distal convoluted tubule, and the distal convoluted tubule joined to the collecting duct. And here also we can see the vasa recta which will cover the nephrons just like a net. And this is the diagrammatic representation of nephrons and the main function of nephron unit. We all will think the main purpose of the kidney function test. The kidney function test is used to diagnose the disease or disorders of the kidney and the urinary tract and other systematic diseases that affect the kidney functioning. And the kidney disorders are mostly diagnosed by using the urine examinations, and the urine examination is classified into three types. First one is macroscopic examination, second one microscopic examination, and chemical examination. Here we can see a diagrammatic representation which will show the classification and its subdivision for the urine analysis. The urine analysis is mainly classified into physical examination or macroscopic examination, and biochemical examination and microscopic examination. And the physical examination includes testing the volume, color, odor, pH and specific gravity of urine. And in microscopic examination it will test the cells, crystals, cast and microorganism, parasites or any contamination which is present in the urine. And in biochemical examination it includes determination of the proteins, sugar, ketone bodies, bile salts, bile pigment and blood in the urine sample. So the first method for the urine analysis is the macroscopic examination, otherwise known as the physical examination. In this we are referring the color, odor, pH, specific gravity and volume of the urine sample. So when we consider the color, urine have a yellow or amber color, and it varies with the urine concentration and diet. And the color is due to the presence of urochrome and urobilin in the urine sample, and the urochrome is the pigment produced from the breakdown of bile, and the urobilin is produced by the breakdown of the hemoglobin. And concentrated urine is darker in color, and the color is affected by diet, medications and certain diseases. These all affect the changes in the color. And second one is the odor. The odor of urine is mildly aromatic odor, and it become ammonia like on standing. And urine of diabetic has fruity odor due to the presence of the ketone bodies in their urine. And the pH, it is ranges between 4.6 to 8, and it varies with diet, that is the high protein diet increases acidity in urine, and vegetarian diet increases the alkalinity of urine. And next is the specific gravity. In urine it is 1.001 to 1.035, and volume 1 to 2 liters in 24 hours, and it may also varies considerably. This is the macroscopic examination of urine. The second method for the urine analysis is the biochemical examination. In biochemical examination we are conducting various tests to determine the presence of various kind of components such as the proteins, ketones, bile salts, bile pigments and blood in the urine sample, and here I added the various testers which is used to determine the presence of protein in the urine sample. And the first one is the sulfosalicylic acid test. To 3 ml of urine sample, add sulfosalicylic acid drop by drop, and it may produces a white precipitate, and it determines the presence of protein in the urine sample. And second method is the Helles nitric acid ring test. In this test, to 3 ml of concentrated nitric acid, urine sample is added drop by drop from the side of the test tube, and a white ring is formed at the junction of the two layers, and it indicates the presence of the protein. And the third method is the heat coagulation. Boil 5 ml of the urine sample for 5 minutes, and it may produces turbidity. This is due to the presence of protein in the urine. And the presence of protein in urine is called proteinuria, and various causes are severe exercise, high protein diet, pregnancy, kidney disease, damage to lower urinary tract, and fasting. This all leads to presence of protein in urine sample. Next is the determination of sugar. We all are familiar with these two tests, that is Benedict and Felling's test. In Benedict test, 2 ml of urine, add 2 ml of Benedict reagent and boil for 2 minutes and then cool, and it may produces whether a green precipitate or brick red precipitate and yellow precipitate. And the green precipitate indicate the urine contain 1% of glucose, and the brick red precipitate indicate 2% glucose content, and yellow precipitate indicate more than 2% glucose. And the next test is the Felling's test. To 2 ml of Felling's A and Felling's B, add 2 ml urine, then boil for 2 to 5 minutes. It may produces red to yellow precipitate, and it is due to the presence of glucose in the urine sample. And the presence of glucose in urine indicate the glucoseuria, and this may be due to diabetes mellitus, hypertension, or the drugs like corticosteroids. Next test for the ketones. Ketone test is known as the Rothera's test. Here we take 5 ml of urine and then add small amount of ammonium sulfate and 2 drop of sodium nitroprusside and 2 ml of strong ammonia solution to the urine sample, and wait for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, if we can observe a permanent color, it is due to the presence of the ketone bodies in the urine sample, and presence of ketone bodies in the urine is called ketonuria, and this may be due to the starvation, excessive fatty acid metabolism, and also due to pregnancy. Next test, which is used to determine the presence of bile salts in the urine sample, and the test is known as sulfur powder test. Take 5 ml of urine in a beaker and sprinkle sublimate sulfur powder, and the powder sinks to the bottom of the beaker. It indicates the presence of the bile salts, and the presence of bile salt in urine may be due to jaundice, obstruction to biliary tract, and liver diseases. Next is the Gembelin test and Helles nitric acid test, which is used to determine the bile pigments in the urine sample. In Gembelin test, take 10 ml of urine and add 2-3 drops of dilute hydrochloric acid. Then filter the solution and allow the filter paper to dry and put a drop of nitric acid. And we can observe the coloration of paper in the following order, that is green, blue, violet, red, and yellowish red color. And the next test is the Helles nitric acid test. Into 3 ml of concentrated nitric acid, add urine drop wise slowly, and it may produces a fine play of colors is observed, and these are due to the presence of bile pigment in the urine sample, and the presence of bile salts in the urine may be due to jaundice. It may be hemolytic or obstructive, and obstruction to biliary tract, and liver disease, which is same as to the bile salts. And the last category of biochemical examination, the test which is used for the determination of blood in the urine sample, that is the benzidine test. Take 2 ml of urine and few ml of hydrogen peroxide and add pinch of benzidine in acetic acid, and it may produces a green coloration, and it is due to the presence of the blood components in the urine sample, and the presence of blood in urine is called hematuria, and the various causes for hematuria are renal calculi, that is kidney stones and glomerulonephritis and severe urinary tract infection and renal tract tumors. These all may produce presence of blood in the urine. The second method of urine analysis is the microscopic examination. In this, the analysis is done simply by pouring the urine sample into test tube and centrifuging it for 5 minutes. The top liquid part is discarded and the sediment left at the bottom is mixed with 1 drop of urine and is studied under a microscope to determine the presence of cells, crystals, casts, microorganism and parasite in the urine sample. While the microscopic examination of a urine sample of a person or a patient who is suffering from fever or urinary tract calculi and acute renal damage, in his urine sample we can find out or observe the epithelial cells and RBC cells. And various crystals are found in the acidic urines such as uric acid crystals, calcium oxalate crystals and cysteine crystals. These are found in the acidic urine. The acidic urine is most commonly seen in high protein diet patients. The crystals which is found in basic urines are carbonate and phosphate crystals. The basic urine is mostly present in pure vegetarians, and in the picture we can see the normal and abnormal crystals which is present in the urine sample. We are also using the microscopic examination of urine for determining the presence of cast in the urine. Urinary casts are cylindrical structures and it is produced by the kidney and present in urine due to certain disease, and they form in the distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct of nephrons, and then they dislodges and pass into the urine. So we can identify them or detect them by microscopic methods. There is mainly 2 types of casts are there: cellular cast and acellular cast. Cellular casts are RBC, WBC and epithelial cells, and acellular casts are hyaline cast, fatty cast, waxy cast and pigment cast. Up to here we already discussed the micro, macro and various biochemical methods used for the urine analysis. Thus we can simply say that the kidney function test may be divided into 4 groups, mainly glomerular function test, tubular function test, analysis of blood or serum and urine examination. The last 2 methods we discussed on the previous session, and next we have to discuss the glomerular function test and tubular function test. In glomerular function test we discuss all the clearance tests of insulin, creatine and urea, and in tubular function test we will discuss the urine concentration or dilution test and urine acidification test. So shall we start with the glomerular filtration test? All the glomerular filtration tests include the clearance test, and the clearance is defined as the volume of plasma that would be completely cleared of a substance per minute, and it can be determined by the equation C equal to U multiplied with V divided by P, and U is the concentration of substance in urine and V is the volume of urine in ml and P is the concentration of the substance in plasma. The maximum rate at which the plasma can clear of any substance is equal to the glomerular filtration rate, that is the GFR value, and this can be calculated by measuring the clearance of a plasma compound which is freely filtered by the glomerulus and is neither absorbed nor secreted in the tubule sections. For example, insulin and 51 chromium EDTA, which will satisfy this criteria, that is it is not absorbed or secreted in the tubules. And insulin is intravenously administered to measure the glomerular filtration rate. There is different type of clearance test are there: creatine clearance test, insulin clearance test and urea clearance test. First we will start with the creatine clearance test. The creatine clearance test is defined as the volume of plasma that would be completely cleared of creatine per minute, and the creatine is an excretory product. It is derived from the creatine phosphate, and the excretion of the creatine is rather constant, that is it is not influenced by the body metabolism or dietary factors, and creatine is filtered by the glomeruli and only marginally secreted by the tubules. And the procedure for creatine clearance test is discussed on the next session, that is the procedure. In the traditional method, the creatine content of a 24-hour urine collection and the plasma concentration in this period are estimated. And in modern method, the procedure is somewhat changed. Here is the modified procedure for the clearance test. Instead of a 24-hour urine collection, we collect the urine for 1 hour after giving water, and the volume of the urine is recorded immediately, and creatine content both in the plasma and urine are estimated, and the creatine clearance can be calculated by using the formula, that is C equal to U into V divided by P. And the normal range of creatine clearance is around 120 to 145 ml per minute. And these values are slightly lower in women. And serum creatine normal ranges for adult male is 0.7 to 1.4 milligram deciliter, and in adult female it is 0.6 to 1.3 milligram deciliter, and in children it is 0.5 to 1.2 milligram per deciliter. And the next is the urea clearance test. And urea clearance is defined as the volume of plasma that would be completely cleared of urea per minute. And we all know that the urea is the end product of protein metabolism, and after the filtration it is partially reabsorbed by the renal tubules. So urea clearance is less than the glomerular filtration rate, and it is influenced by the protein content of the diet which we are taken. And urea clearance is not as sensitive as the creatine clearance also. Here we can see both the normal values for the urea clearance and the standard urea clearance values. If the urine output is more than 2 ml per minute, then the maximum urea clearance and the normal value will be around 75 ml per minute. But the urea clearance may be changes when the volume of urine is less than 2 ml per minute, and it is known as the standard urea clearance C, and the normal value will be around 54 ml per minute. And the standard urea clearance is calculated by a modified formula, that is CS equal to U into root V divided by P, and the normal level of the blood urea is 20 to 40 milligram deciliter. There is mainly 4 reasons which will lead to increase the blood urea, that is pre-renal conditions, renal disease, post-renal causes, and medications. In pre-renal conditions, one example is dehydration. Dehydration may be due to severe vomiting, intestinal obstructions, diarrhea, diabetic coma, severe burns, fever, and severe infections. These all leads to dehydration, and the dehydration will causes the increased blood urea amount. And second one is the renal disease. Renal disease such as acute glomerulonephritis, nephrosis, malignant hypertension, and chronic phlebonephritis. And renal post-renal causes such as stones in the urinary tract, and enlarged prostate, tumors of bladder. And the last one is the medication which you are taking, such as the ACE inhibitors, acetaminophen, and aminoglycosides, and diuretics. These all medications which will lead to increase the blood urea content. Next we have to discuss the tubular function test. Tubular function test mainly include urine concentration and dilution test, and also urine acidification test. Here I added the urine concentration test, and it is used to assess the renal tubular function, and this test include the measurement of specific gravity which depends on concentration of solute present in the urine, and the normal specific gravity we already discussed that it is 1.020, and normally the urine contain 95% of water, and the rest of the urine is urea, uric acid, creatine, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, and ammonia in small amount. And the specific gravity which will determined by this urine concentration test, and the specific gravity increases due to the dehydration, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, congestive heart failure, and diabetes mellitus. And also the specific gravity decreases due to diabetes insipidus. So the specific gravity will determine which part of the renal tubular function is damaged. So here is the urine concentration test which is used to determine the renal tubular function. So in this section we covered most of the renal function test, such as the microscopic function test, macroscopic and biochemical function test, and also all the clearance test, that is for insulin and creatinine and also urea. And tubular function test is also discussed. In tubular function test there is the urine concentration test. And this all about the renal function test. Thank you all for hearing me.